what is going on in the NFL anymore? It looks like chaos, but let's go ahead and break down the chaos, absolute insanity that happened in Week 5. How's it going, everybody? I am Jason of Jason's Realm here, and today I'm here bringing you guys my official NFL Week 5 recap. Let's dive right into these games. So we start things off, as always, with Thursday Night Football. This one between the Chicago Bears and the Washington Commanders. The Bears absolutely demolishing the Commanders in memory of Dick Butkus, who had passed just before this game, just hours before the game was released that he did pass. Rather unfortunate, but the Bears did play with a lot of heart that night. And man, the offensive line looked good and Fields was able to cook. The defense has been a bit hit or miss, but they did just enough on that night to get the game, win the game basically. Washington, what was that? You had a very easy opponent and you still managed to blow it. You play up to the good teams of Philadelphia, but then you play down to the teams like Chicago. What are you? The old Pittsburgh Steelers? Get your act together and get yourself back in the game. Up next, we have an upset from across the pond. The Jacksonville Jaguars beating the Buffalo Bills 25-20. This game was another good game between two top-tier teams. The Jaguars starting to get things together. They are starting to click after back-to-back London wins. And man, they dominated in the first quarter and they got the rest done as needed, cruising to victory. The Bills, you had a very ugly game. You had way too many penalties called against you. You were a sloppy team just all around, just not really looking good. You got to get your act together if you want to make the playoffs and make a Super Bowl run. Up next, we go to a huge upset in the South. The Atlanta Falcons at home beating the Houston Texans 21-19. This game was insanely close, back and forth. The Texans found themselves down 6, score a touchdown, get ahead by 1. The Falcons drive down effortlessly and score 3. This game was incredibly close, and man, Houston, what was that defensive collapse? You just had to shut down Bijan Robinson, and that was it. You didn't do it, but CJ Stroud still looking solid. It wasn't as near the numbers as he's been putting up, but he still managed to protect the ball. That is huge. A rookie protecting the ball. I believe he doesn't have a single interception on record through his first 5 weeks, which is insane to think about, especially considering especially the Steelers defense they played last week. I mean, it was a clean performance from CJ Stroud. Not huge, but a clean performance. He is absolutely demolishing the league as a rookie. And Atlanta, nice solid win. I mean, you're probably not going to be a playoff team, but still solid to show what you got. Not much of a nothing burger for you on this game. Up next, we have the absolute butt kicking of the week. The Carolina Panthers falling massively to the Detroit Lions, 42-24. Detroit absolutely dominated the first half, and they used that massive lead to just cruise to victory in the second half. Slow start once again in the third quarter, but you got the job done when you needed to. Carolina, you were only able to score when you were down big. Those were pity points. Get your act together. You have absolutely nothing to build off of right now, other than Bryce Young. Up next, we have the Tennessee Titans falling to the Indianapolis Colts 23-16, but at what cost? Anthony Richardson looking to be out at least a month with an AC sprain. But man, you got the job done, and it's Gardner Minshew season now. But I do have a serious question for you, Indianapolis. You did not pay Jonathan Taylor, and you watched Zach Moss absolutely tear it up. So then you make the baffling decision to say, oh wait, now we need Jonathan Taylor, and then you don't even use Taylor. What are you doing? Why would you go through the effort of signing Taylor to have Zach Moss get about 90% of those carries? That was an absolutely sloppy game plan. You got the win, but man, you got to revitalize Jonathan Taylor in this offense. Meanwhile, Tennessee, about what I expected. I mean, I'm not real high on you guys. Yeah, your easy part of the schedule's coming up, but nothing's easy when you're the retirement home of the league and you have aging stars and aging veterans who are past their prime. Up next, we have the New York Giants falling to mayhaps the best coach in the league personality-wise in the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniels. And it was the 16-31 defeat for the Giants, absolutely getting demolished. Miami, they did what Miami does. They got yards, they put up points, they won games. That's Miami this year. They are a strong contender here this season. Meanwhile, Giants, you put up a fight, but Daniel Jones gets injured, and yeah, this is not really looking good for you guys. Yeah, you might just want to hit the hard reset button and try to rebuild once again. You're in a perpetual rebuild, I know, but it's just you don't have a lot to go off of here. Up next, we have the fall of the Roman Empire. The New England Patriots getting demolished by the New Orleans Saints by a final score of 34-0. This means that Bill Belichick in 2 consecutive weeks has lost for a combined total of lost by 69 combined points over 2 weeks. That is absolutely unsustainable for a team. And man, Bill Belichick, what have you got? And then you got Mac Jones stirring the pot saying, well, you can't, even a gourmet chef can't make garbage taste nice. But at the same time, yeah, there's not a lot going, but you got to take better care of the ball. You know your wide receivers aren't the greatest, so you got to take care of the ball. You had multiple interceptions once again, and you're just not looking good. You got to take care of the ball. You can't be passing it to receivers whenever you know it's a 50-50 chance because you're not going to win a 50-50 ball. So that is just absolutely disgusting to see. New England is collapsing in front of our very eyes. Meanwhile, the New Orleans Saints, man, you guys came back, and you came back hard. I was a little concerned about you guys, but man, you looked impeccable last week, and you have the momentum to keep it going now. Up next, we have the most interesting game of the week. The Baltimore Ravens falling to the Pittsburgh Steelers? What? Am I reading this right? The Pittsburgh Steelers won a football game against the Baltimore Ravens with Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator? What? That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. Baltimore, where was your offense? You put up 10 points. You gave Lamar weapons, and he still can't capitalize on them. What an incredible misuse of weapons there. I know you lost OBJ in the game, but still you have plenty of other weapons. A bad game for you guys. And let's just say, Matt Canada, this win is not because of you. You know, we all know, that Kenny Pickett called the audible on that game-winning touchdown to George Pickens. That was not your call. You do not make those calls, Matt Canada. Get out of my sight. I never want to see you again. Up next, we have the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Arizona Cardinals 34-20. And once again, oh, there goes my pen. But anyway, once again, Cincinnati, get Jamar Chase involved, and you will see results. You get him involved, and man, he absolutely popped off this week, and look what happened. You played well. This happened against the Rams. It happened against the Cardinals. Coincidence? I think not. Get Jamar Chase involved in the game, and you will be fine. No doubt. Arizona, nice job trying to battle and trying to rally. You're never out of it. You just were unable to do enough to get the win here. But still, nice job fighting against a quality opponent. Well, up next, we have an interesting one here to break down. The Philadelphia Eagles beating the Los Angeles Rams by 9, 23-14. And it was interesting. The Rams, you looked good in the first half. You looked really solid. But then the second half came along and you did next to nothing. Meanwhile, the Eagles, you did it. You beat the Rams. Does it really tell you much, though? Considering the Rams' defense isn't really all that great. I mean, yeah, you won the front seven battle, but it was against a weak offensive line for the Rams. So really, you're not convincing me still. You're still missing the big statement win to convince me that you guys are legit this year. I'm still concerned about you guys at this point. Up next, we have the game with the most karma in existence. The New York Jets, with Nathaniel Hackett calling plays, I believe it was, beating the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton, who basically said that, you know, Nathaniel Hackett's coaching job was the absolute worst coaching job he has ever seen, by a final score of 31-21. I know a lot of this does not fall on the hands of Hackett, but still, Hackett did enough to get the win over Sean Payton. And man, I mean, the Jets, you were able to keep your stride going. Wilson, you're still looking solid. Keep that focus going. We like it. We like what we are seeing from you now. Keep this going and you will be good, especially if you have another year or two under Rodgers after this year. Man, you'll be looking really good. Meanwhile, Denver, you did a decent job fighting back against that Jets defense, but Denver, I mean, you got to be able to take care of the ball and be able to basically execute whenever you need to. You did not do anything when you needed to be clutch. So get that resolved, and maybe we'll consider you a fringe playoff contender. Up next, we have the most rigged game in NFL history, the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Minnesota Vikings with a big, fat asterisk, 27-20. Kansas City playing down massively to an opponent, almost losing to them, and the refs really taking their side, helping them win. But man, it has been ugly. It was ugly for them. They did not deserve that win at all. And yeah, just taking a look at it here, the Vikings, you did a solid job playing up, and oh my gosh, the Raiders just won this game. Sorry, I'm watching the Packers-Raiders as we speak. But anyway, yeah, the Vikings doing a decent job playing up. Unfortunate breaks on the blatant ref ball happening. But you still did a decent job trying to fight in this one. Up next, we have the absolutely massive exposition of the Dallas Cowboys, where they lost in embarrassing fashion to the 49ers. Are the 49ers just this good, or is the Cowboys defense really that suspect, considering who they've played thus far? I don't know, but the Niners winning 42-10, and man, San Francisco looking good as always. As much as I hate your guts, I respect what you're doing over there, and I honestly, as a Rams fan, I'm hoping you go 17-0, but the minute you lose a game, I want you to lose every single game the rest of the season. No disrespect there, but man, as much as I hate your guts, I gotta respect what you're doing. Meanwhile, I mean, Dallas, what was that? I mean, your offense is exposed as much as it can be. The defense was exposed as well. You just are absolutely exposed against any good team. And now you have a tough schedule coming up here that could really make or break your season. And last but not least, here we have the Green Bay Packers falling to the Las Vegas Raiders. Excuse me? The Raiders winning this one 17-13 off of a game-winning pick. And man, our team's finally starting to figure out Jordan Love. Is the Love era in Green Bay coming to an end here with the Packers just collapsing? You don't have a lot of good targets for Love. You got to get him more weapons. You got to get some offensive line help, and that defense did a decent job. You did enough to, one would think would be allowing to win. But man, you just really are struggling now. Meanwhile, Vegas, you are looking good, and now you have a relatively easy road ahead. Out of your next 5 games, the only one that really seems to be a tough one is the Lions and maybe the Jets. You have a really easy schedule coming up, and this is your chance to define yourself as a fringe playoff contender, maybe even a very potential playoff team, if you can play your cards right. Vegas, I'm rooting for you. Everyone's rooting for you. Come on, man. Just take that spot and take the schedule in stride. Well, that's about going to do it for me today. If you guys did like, don't forget to smash like and subscribe. It does help me out a whole lot. It tells me that I'm making content that you guys enjoy and that I should keep doing what I'm doing. Let me know in the comments down below as well what you thought of this week. And I guess make sure, if you haven't already, check out our Fantasy Versus series between me and David down over here so you can see who won. Spoiler alert, it probably wasn't David, but I'll let you figure that one out. And I guess with that, I will see you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.